Let's begin by installing a simple rich text editor that we can use to have the user type in descriptions for images. And I've provided a zip file here. And if you download the zip file and extract all to RTE content, I already have one, there's just a single PHP file. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this and go to my project. And then under Assets Includes, I'm going to paste that file. So the file itself is minified. The JavaScript code and the CSS is minified to make it compact. Also, pretty hard to read. If you're interested in learning more about how it actually works, there's a series of videos that I put together for CIS 233W that takes you through its construction, and this is just based on that. It's a loadable content module just like the ones we've been writing. It only specifies CSS and JavaScript. We don't have any HTML, and we don't need a callback. What it does when you load it is it installs the rich text editor as a jQuery plugin, and so you can select elements and call the RTE function on them to turn them into rich text editables. So let's go ahead and see how that works. I'm going to select my home page, right-click, refactor, copy, and I'm going to call this test under rte.php. So I'm starting with the same stuff as the home page, which also includes this common requires. Common requires includes lots of PHP stuff that we're probably not going to need here. And common header, common head content includes jQuery, which we'll definitely need, the load content module, which we'll be using to load the editor, and so on. So let's go ahead and start by going to test RTE, and I'm going to add a script tag here in the head that loads the content when the document is ready. So when the document is ready, there's going to be a function that gets executed, and it's going to call load content, and the path is going to be assets includes RTE content.php. And I'm not going to specify a callback function just yet. I'm going to come back to this. So first we need a box that we can make editable. So I'm going to add a div box, and I'll put a little header above it, an h3, type your description here. And then in order to identify this, I'm going to attach an ID to it. Now I'm also going to put some style properties on this thing, and so I'm just going to go ahead and do that in line rather than messing around with the CSS file just yet. So style, and scroll down a little bit. So # description box. I'm just going to say the width is 800 pixels and the min height is 200 pixels. So let's go ahead and load this in a browser and see what we have so far. Okay, so there's the page. There is actually a box here, but you can't see it. So I'm going to inspect. Here's the description box. And then to make this editable, After this thing has loaded, what I'm going to do is supply a function, callback, and it's going to use jQuery to get my description box, and it's going to call the RTE function on it. Now, the RTE function is also going to take a callback here. So after the user is done editing the text, I want to supply a function that's going to get the box that they were editing as well as the final version of the text. So function, and it's going to get a box and some HTML. And then what I want to do for display purposes is I'm just going to go ahead and have a results box. And I'm going to set the contents of results to, and then I'm going to go ahead and put the ID of the box that was edited. And then a break, and then HTML, and that should be enough. So let's go ahead and try it now. All right, so now the box is gray and there's a little edit tag on it. And I'm going to go ahead and put a border around this so it's a little more obvious. So in the style, let's go ahead and add border solid black 1 pixel. Okay, so let's try edit. And I have an HTML toolbar. Bold, italic, bold, italic, underline, and then I can center some text. I can right justify, and I can left justify, and then block some text over, and then back, and let's try a numbered list. And then we'll have a sublist. The end. So there's some HTML. I can view the HTML here. It's kind of one long line, but I can reformat it a little bit. Go back here, and then I can cancel, in which case the text in the box will revert to what I had before, or I can hit submit. And if I hit submit, that callback function is going to get executed and will be passed the original box as well as the HTML, which gets displayed down here. So the ID is description box, the HTML is basically what I saw. So what I'm going to do in the project is each image page is going to have a description box with the HTML editor in it. And when you edit the text and hit submit, I'm going to use an AJAX query to send the HTML to the database and to store that associated with the image, so that anytime you browse back to the image, you'll be able to see the description.